I'm Veronica, and I'd like to welcome you to my video. It is Get Your Ex Back Part 23. Today's topic is all about how, when you're trying to attract back an ex or a specific person, you actually have to make it more about you than about them. And I know this might sound contradictory because you might be saying, well, I want this specific person. I want this ex back. I don't want just anybody. And I'm not saying you have to settle for just anybody, but first, in order to welcome this person back into your life, you do have to make it about you. It cannot be all about them. If you place all the emphasis on them, you're actually sort of blocking the manifestation from happening. And here's why. Okay, so basically, you want a renewed relationship. You want, a second chance at this relationship. You want a healed relationship. And these are all wonderful things. But first, you have to feel what it is to actually be in a renewed relationship. You have to actually connect with the feelings of having a renewed relationship. If you just, focus on them, make it about them, you're not welcoming the experience into your life. You have to first feel that you can actually have this in your life. You have to welcome the idea of it in your life. You have to play around with what it feels like to you. And what I mean by this is, what would it be like if you were in a fulfilling relationship? What would that feel like to you? Not the idea of, what does it feel like to be in a relationship with them? But what does it feel like to you? How does your life change? How do you start dealing with the other areas of your life differently? How is it that things are different and new and refreshed in other areas of your life? How do you relate to other people in your life? How does it feel, when you wake up in the morning? How does it feel to be fulfilled rather than feeling lack? And these are sort of the areas that you need to work on. You need to make it more about you than about them because, again, this is your life. You're the star of your life. You're the star of the show in your life. They're not the star of the show. You're the star of the show. So you need to focus on what it feels like, to be fulfilled, what it feels like to have a relationship. You need to have it feel normal. You need to have it feel basic, that, the idea of reconciling, it's about you and it's about the feelings of having this. I want you to sort of, test yourself. A lot of people have resistance when they think of renewing a relationship with someone because a lot of times there's a lot of hurt feelings. There's a lot of things that still have to be worked through. So the way you deal with this resistance is you make it more about you than about them. You focus on the feelings of having a relationship. How does it make you feel? How do you feel inside? What do those feelings mean to you? How does it change the way, you think during the day? How does it change your emotional makeup? How does it change, your opinion of the world? Does it make you, start to see things differently in other areas of your life? A lot of times when we're happy and fulfilled, especially in love, other things that would usually be problematic suddenly aren't problematic anymore. So how do you relate to the rest of your life? How does it feel inside to feel abundance as opposed to feeling lack? How does it feel to be fulfilled? How does it feel to no longer be waiting? How does it feel to have it already be done? How does it feel to already feel complete? A lot of times when there's a breakup, you start to pick yourself apart and you start to think that, you did something wrong or that you need to be better or that you need to be different. But how does it feel to be complete in this very moment? Not that you're waiting to manifest, this person back, but how does it feel that it's already done and that you're already complete and that there's nothing more to wait for, that it's already yours, that you are complete in every single possible way, that you are perfect, that you can just sit back and just enjoy your life because it's done. Like, how does that feel to no longer be waiting? So what I want you to do is really challenge yourself. You don't have to be thinking about this person 24/7. The universe isn't going to forget who you want. A lot of times people think they have to constantly be thinking of this person or their desire for them will go away. I don't want you to think about this person all the time. In fact, that's kind of detrimental. You need, my last video was about balance, and you need to find that balance where, again, you are the star of the show, not them. You need to stand on solid ground. You need to feel that foundation under your feet, and you need to make this about you. Because if you don't believe you can be in a fulfilling relationship, if you don't believe that that actually could exist, then how on earth are you going to attract this person back? If you don't believe that that's possible, then you can't experience that. You can't get to that point because you haven't welcomed it in first. So like I said, make this about you. Don't make this about them. Of course you can visualize and of course you can say affirmations, but that can't be the sole core of your life. You have to do other things too, and you have to work on you and what you believe is possible for you, because a lot of people, repeat the same sort of mistakes in relationships, and they have sort of a string of past relationships that are extremely similar, and the problems are extremely similar, even though the people that they were involved with might have been completely different. But the problems and the issues and maybe the things that the people said, they mirror one another identically, and that's because it's something going on inside of you. You keep attracting these sorts of scenarios, and you need to heal yourself and work through these scenarios before you can have, that renewed relationship, before you can attract back the ex. Because if you don't work on these things first, then if you do get back together with this person, you're just going to repeat the same mistake over again. And you don't want that. You want it to be brand new. You want a second chance at happiness. You want to do things in a way that you didn't do them before. You want it to be brand new and wonderful in every single possible way. So I hope this could inspire you. Once again, this is Get Your Ex Back, Part 23. Part 24 and Part 25 are coming soon, and I'm always open to suggestions for any videos. I might even do like a question and answer series. I did those before in the past. I haven't done one in a while. So if you have any specific questions, I'd love to know, because I'd love to help you, in every single possible way, not just in your relationship, but in other areas of your life too. I do have 5 ebooks available. They are available on Amazon and also on my website. I will list the links below. I do offer one-on-one coaching, so if you do want to talk to me, I do Skype, I do phone calls, text chats, emails. I'm here to help, and I'm here throughout different hours of the day. I always try to make myself available when it's convenient for you, because I know a lot of you live around the world. Not everybody's in the United States, and the United States even has all different time zones. So I try to make myself available, to help when it's convenient for you. Feel free to email me at veronicaisles@gmail.com. And I do have a forum, veronica.loa.boardhost.com. And I hope you have a wonderful and inspired day, and do something nice for yourself today, especially if you are attracting back that ex. Do something that makes you happy. Stop thinking about them all the time. Make yourself happy.